Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Audra's revenge plot, Kyle pays price for betrayal. The Young and the Restless, Lie and R. Spoilers reveal that Audra Charles, Zalika Silver, and Kyle Abbott's Michael Mueller fake truce won't last much longer. The trouble will start when Nate Hastings, seen Dominic, brings up Kyle and Audra's boss, which will prompt Audra to interrupt and clarify that he means their mysterious benefactor. Audra doesn't want to give Kyle any leverage that he might use against her, so she'll worry that he'll suspect she spilled too much. Since Victor Newman, Eric Braden, swore Audra and Kyle to secrecy when it came to his role in Glissade, he wouldn't like her blabbing to Nate. That's exactly why Kyle will get Victor on the phone after this slip-up during the week of September 9 to 13 and point the finger at Audra. Kyle will eventually meet up with Victor and explain why he believes Audra has told Nate about his involvement. This will be Kyle's opportunity to play up Audra's shady nature. If Victor can't trust Audra to keep his name under wraps, how can she be trusted to help run this company? That's what Kyle may argue as he once again pushes for a chance to run Glissade on own. Even if Victor doesn't grant Kyle that chance just yet, he'll definitely be keeping a closer eye on Audra. Kyle will apparently put Victor on high alert and lead to him catching Audra as she makes a risky move. Audra is about to go rogue somehow, which isn't going to fly with Victor. Since Victor is an it's my way or the highway kind of guy, this could lead to Audra getting fired or at least severely reprimanded. Either way, Audra will quickly realize Kyle has been causing problems for her. It'll leave Audra livid and ready to retaliate, so Kyle had better be prepared for her revenge plot. Audra isn't someone who'll stand by and let someone like Kyle trample all over her dreams and goals. Kyle will face consequences for messing with Audra's future, so we'll bring you predictions on how far her vengeful scheme will go. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some stunning developments are ahead when it comes to Audra and Kyle's doomed partnership, so stick with us for updates on all the wild news to come. Audra Charles had never been one to take betrayal lightly. Her sharp wit and ambition had carried her far, but they had also left a trail of scorched earth behind her. In Genoa City, betrayal was as common as breathing, but for Audra it wasn't something she'd forgive easily, especially when it came to Kyle Abbott. For weeks, Audra had played her cards carefully, positioning herself closer to Kyle, while subtly planting the seeds of doubt between him and his estranged wife, Summer. She was no stranger to manipulation, and if it meant getting what she wanted, power, control, and a seat at the top, then she'd use every trick in her playbook. What she didn't anticipate, however, was Kyle turning the tables on her when she least expected it. After their brief fling, Kyle had grown distant. It wasn't just a cooling-off period, but something far more calculated. Audra could feel him slipping through her fingers, and that infuriated her. He had lured her in with his charm, and she had taken the bait, believing that together they could rise above the petty rivalries of Genoa City and dominate Newman media. But Kyle had other plans. His heart, despite their passionate moments, still lingered on Summer, and his alliance with Victor Newman was tightening the noose around Audra's neck. Kyle's betrayal stung deeper than she had imagined. She had opened herself up to him, albeit for personal gain, but now it was clear. Kyle had never intended to be anything more than a pawn in his own game. The final straw came when she discovered that Kyle had been feeding information back to his father, Jack Abbott, and to Victor. He had been playing both sides, and now her carefully crafted empire was in jeopardy. Audra sat in her office, fingers drumming rhythmically on her desk as she stared out the window. The skyline of Genoa City stretched before her, but her mind was elsewhere, deep in the trenches of a revenge plot that was brewing like a storm. "Audra, you're not going to let him get away with this," she muttered to herself, her reflection in the glass hardening with resolve. Kyle Abbott was going to pay for his betrayal, and she knew just where to hit him where it hurt the most. Kyle, meanwhile, was blissfully unaware of the tempest that was gathering in Audra's mind. He had convinced himself that cutting ties with Audra was the right move. His father had always warned him about getting too close to snakes, and Audra, with her beguiling ways, had proven to be just that. Though their time together had been filled with chemistry and intrigue, Kyle realized too late that she was more dangerous than he had anticipated. His focus had shifted back to his family, particularly to the custody battle over Harrison. Summer had been pushing for joint custody, and despite their recent rocky relationship, Kyle still loved his son more than anything. The thought of losing time with Harrison was unbearable, and if that meant making amends with Summer, he would do whatever it took. But Audra wasn't about to let him walk away unscathed. The next morning, Kyle arrived at Jabot, unaware of the whispers that followed him through the hallways. He walked into his office to find a stack of papers neatly placed on his desk. At first, he thought they were routine contracts, but as he flipped through the pages, his heart sank. It was a dossier, a comprehensive one. Every misstep, every questionable business deal he had made in the past 6 months, all neatly compiled with damning evidence. There were even photographs of his late-night rendezvous with Audra, moments he thought had been kept secret. Kyle's hands shook as he dropped the folder onto his desk. His mind raced. Who could have put this together? Who had been watching him so closely? And then it hit him, Audra. Just as the realization dawned on him, his office door swung open, and there she was, standing in the doorway with a smile that sent chills down his spine. "Enjoying your morning reading?" Audra asked, her voice dripping with satisfaction. Kyle stood, his face pale. "What the hell is this, Audra?" "Insurance," she said casually, strolling into his office. "You didn't think I'd let you get away with betraying me, did you?" "Kyle, I'm not as naive as you think. You play your little games, but I'm always 2 steps ahead." Kyle clenched his fists. "What do you want?" Audra's smile widened as she took a seat in front of him, crossing her legs. "Oh, it's simple. I want you to pay for what you did, and I'm going to make sure everyone in Geno City knows exactly who you are, your business dealings, your lies, everything." Kyle's pulse raced. He had worked hard to keep his reputation intact, especially with Jabot and the Abbott family. If this dossier got out, it would destroy him. His father, Jack, would never forgive him, and his position at Jabot would be in serious jeopardy. "You don't have to do this," Kyle said, trying to keep his voice calm. "We can come to an agreement." Audra laughed, the sound cold and calculated. "An agreement? Kyle, this is me giving you a chance to fix what you broke, but make no mistake, this isn't a negotiation. You're going to do exactly what I want, or I'll send this to every media outlet in the country." Kyle felt trapped, his mind scrambling for a way out, but Audra wasn't finished. "First, you're going to cut ties with Victor and the Newmans. Permanently, you're going to focus solely on Jabot and nothing else. And you're going to make sure I get a higher position at Newman Media, something with more influence." Kyle's jaw tightened. She was asking for too much, but he didn't have a choice. "And if I refuse?" Audra's eyes gleamed with a dangerous glint. "Then I'll destroy everything you've ever worked for, and I'll enjoy every second of it." Kyle swallowed hard, realizing he had severely underestimated Audra. He had thought she was just another ambitious executive, but she was far more ruthless than he had ever imagined. Now he was caught in her web, and there was no easy way out. Audra stood, smoothing out her skirt. "You've got 48 hours to make your decision, Kyle. After that, the whole world will know just how dirty you are." As she left his office, Kyle collapsed into his chair, his head spinning. He had thought he could outmaneuver Audra, but now he was the one being played. And it was going to cost him everything.